What if the manner in which you've engaged in intimacy throughout your life is the very reason for the loss of connection in your later years? Allow me to introduce you to Harold. At the age of 72, he embodied kindness, having stepped away from his career and recently navigating the complexities of divorce. He encountered a remarkable individual and endeavored to embrace intimacy once more after years of quietude, yet his body refused to comply. He was engulfed by a wave of panic. She withdrew, and he never made another attempt, not due to a lack of desire, but rather because he believed himself to be irreparably flawed. My name is Dr. Harrison, and I specialize in urology and men's health. For more than 3 decades, I have guided countless men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond on a journey to reclaim their confidence, restore intimacy, and safeguard their health in ways they once deemed unattainable. Many men assume that their sexual vitality diminishes with the passage of time, yet the reality is quite different. It simply does not. What truly restrains them is the knowledge they were never imparted. Today I will unveil 5 potent secrets about intimacy that older men often wish they had discovered sooner, along with the true cost they incurred for their ignorance. Before we proceed, if you consider this type of candid, transformative health guidance beneficial, be sure to subscribe and activate the notification bell, ensuring you never overlook another message crafted specifically for men such as yourself. If this resonates with you, please type 1 in the comments to acknowledge your presence. Should that be the case, please enter 0. I genuinely aspire to enhance my abilities and provide you with superior service. Let us embark on the journey of unveiling the first truth, for it is this very revelation that subtly shatters more hearts and erodes confidence than any other. The notion that intimacy beyond the age of 60 ought to remain spontaneous. Confidential insight 1. Spontaneity can no longer be your trusted companion, and that is not a flaw. It is a mark of wisdom. In the days of youth, intimacy had a way of blossoming in the most unexpected places, at the most spontaneous moments. Your instincts guided you effortlessly. Your passion aligned seamlessly with your skills, and all fell into place. A distinct sense of pride accompanied the ability to be prepared at a moment's notice, without the necessity for conversation, planning, or preparation. For many men, that element of surprise was what rendered intimacy thrilling. Yet, there exists a truth that often remains unspoken. Upon reaching the age of 60, the dynamics shift. Holding on to the notion that one must always be ready to perform when the moment calls for it is not just impractical. It poses a significant risk. It's a recurring theme I've observed repeatedly. Men enter my office, their heads bowed, deliberately evading eye contact. They are neither ill nor harmed, yet they bear the weight of emotional and psychological devastation, all stemming from a singular moment of failure concealed from the world. They sought to connect with their partner on a deeper level, yet their bodies seemed to resist the call of intimacy. Rather than seeking to comprehend the events that transpired, they turned their ire inward, casting blame upon themselves. They experienced a profound sense of weakness, embarrassment, and shame. Following that, some chose to abstain from intimacy entirely. Some chose to act as if it had never occurred, enduring their pain in silence. Yet, the majority refrained from seeking assistance. There was a man who has etched himself into my memory, and his name was Gerald. At 69, he was vibrant and full of life, still engaging in activities he loved, and had recently embarked on a new romantic journey after years of solitude. Everything seemed to be progressing smoothly until one fateful night when the connection deepened into something physical. He was unprepared. He believed that everything would unfold effortlessly, as it always had before. Yet, when it faltered, when his body betrayed him, a wave of panic washed over him. He withdrew, fabricated a reason, and never reached out to her again, not due to a lack of concern, but rather as a result of his humiliation. He confided in me later that it felt as though a piece of his manhood had been stripped away that night. This is the cost that numerous older men incur when they fail to grasp the truths of aging and the nuances of intimacy. It transcends mere disappointment. It strikes at the very core of your identity, undermining your confidence and shaking the foundations of your emotional well-being. For certain men, this marks the onset of solitude. They cease their efforts. They distance themselves from their companions. They sever their ties, not solely in the realm of the physical, but also in the depths of the emotional. As the chasm of emotional distance widens, so too does the solitude, the bitterness, and the haunting notion that perhaps their finest days have slipped into the past. Yet, there is a truth I must share with you. To lose spontaneity is not to lose intimacy. What thrived at 30 was rooted in biology. Success at 60, 70, or 80 is rooted in intention, communication, and meticulous preparation. That is not a sign of frailty. That is profound insight. It is the essence of maturity. In numerous respects, it fosters a connection that is richer and more profound. Preparing for intimacy does not extinguish the enchantment. It safeguards it. It conveys to your body, your partner, and your heart that this holds significance. It allows you to nurture your circulation, alleviate stress, steer clear of medications that disrupt, and cultivate the appropriate emotional atmosphere. Above all, it alleviates the burden. As you release the expectation for your body to perform as it once did, you start to discover tranquility and joy in the journey, rather than solely in the outcome. However, overlooking this reality carries significant dangers. My words extend beyond mere emotional letdowns. I'm referring to individuals who have experienced heart attacks, strokes, or abrupt declines in blood pressure due to their attempts to exert themselves excessively, too quickly, without adequate preparation. Intimacy, akin to any physical endeavor, requires a foundation of respect. Neglecting this reality and approaching intimacy after 60 as if it were the same as in your 20s could mean risking more than merely your pride. Your life could be at stake in this gamble. I have provided guidance to widows who experienced the tragic loss of their husbands in moments of closeness, as the men were too proud to acknowledge their need to take things at a gentler pace. I've encountered men who found themselves in the emergency room after combining blood pressure medications with enhancement pills, all without consulting a physician first. Too many men have paid the ultimate price, unaware that aging alters the rules of the game, demanding a different strategy for success. However, there is a silver lining to consider. Upon grasping that intimacy in the later stages of life demands a distinct perspective. A transformation unfolds. As communication deepens, anxiety fades away, satisfaction reemerges, and above all, you reclaim your role, not as the man you were at 30, but as the wiser, more grounded individual you have become. If you find yourself grappling with feelings of disconnection, frustration, or shame, take heart in this understanding. This is not the conclusion. A fresh start awaits. Should you choose to release antiquated notions and welcome a more intelligent, secure, and potent path to intimacy, this leads us to a matter of even greater urgency. While many men concentrate on the events unfolding in the bedroom, they often overlook the messages their performance conveys about their heart. Should you overlook that signal, the consequences could be dire. Confidential insight 2. Erections serve as a reflection of your cardiovascular well-being. Allow me to speak candidly. For those who have crossed the threshold of 60, if you find yourself observing shifts in your capacity to achieve or sustain an erection, it is a matter that warrants your attention, not solely due to its implications for your intimate life, but also for the potential impact it may have on your heart. Many men perceive erectile dysfunction merely as a concern confined to the bedroom, a most unfortunate predicament, a matter to chuckle at or discreetly overlook. Yet, what remains shrouded in mystery, what has never been revealed to them, is that a man's erection transcends mere sexual response. It is an occurrence related to the cardiovascular system, a crucial marker reflecting the intricate dynamics of blood circulation throughout the body. And when that flow of life begins to wane, a far more profound issue is at play. There was a patient, I recall, named David. At the age of 67, he remained married, engaged in part-time work, and continued to lead an active lifestyle. He sought my counsel, burdened by difficulties in the intimate realm. It's nothing significant, merely a shift from what it once was. It's likely just a matter of age. Wouldn't you agree, doctor? He chuckled as he spoke. Yet I found no amusement. I posed my inquiries, conducted several examinations, and an unsettling feeling lingered. A comprehensive cardiac evaluation has been requested. 3 weeks later, David found himself undergoing surgery due to a 90% blockage in his left anterior descending artery, the entity known as the Widowmaker. In the stillness of the night, he reached out to me from the confines of his hospital bed. He remarked, "I entered believing I had an issue with intimacy. It appears I was harboring a ticking time bomb within my chest. Many men remain unaware that the arteries within the penis are narrower than those found in the heart. That implies they will become obstructed or constricted more quickly. When blood fails to circulate in that area, it serves as a warning sign that your larger arteries, particularly those supplying your heart and brain, might already be at risk. Erectile dysfunction frequently serves as the initial indicator of cardiovascular disease. Your body is subtly pleading for assistance. To disregard that signal comes at a perilous price. I've observed men dismiss it, purchase over-the-counter medications, or attribute it to stress or the passage of time. In the meantime, they traverse their days burdened by perilously elevated blood pressure, obstructed arteries, or the silent shadow of undiagnosed diabetes. They remain oblivious until the moment has passed, until a stroke renders them motionless, until a heart attack strikes in the stillness of night, until the harm becomes irrevocable. Moreover, it extends beyond mere physical peril. The emotional burden is equally profound. When a man senses that he is losing command over his own body, it gradually erodes his confidence, distorts his self-image, and diminishes his desire to forge connections. He might distance himself from his partner. He might cease his quest for closeness, held back by trepidation. And gradually, he might begin to sense a growing invisibility, as if his finest years have slipped away from him. Yet, the reality is this: it need not remain so. Your sense of control is greater than you realize. By perceiving your erection as a signal rather than a source of shame, you can identify issues at an early stage. Transformations are within your grasp. Transformations that not only enhance your intimate experiences, but also enrich the very fabric of your existence. A diminished erection could be your body's subtle plea, signaling that it requires assistance. It is a lamentable truth that countless men linger until that soft murmur transforms into a deafening cry. I implore every man I encounter, if there is any shift in your capacity to perform, do not conceal it. Do not overlook it. There's no need for embarrassment. Exercise your intellect. Take the initiative. Have your heart examined. Execute the tests. Engage in the dialogue. A single uncomfortable visit to the doctor today might pave the way for a decade of vibrant health alongside your spouse, your family, and the life you cherish. This is not a matter of shame. It revolves around the essence of enduring existence. What's the silver lining? Tackling the root cause, be it blood flow, hormonal imbalance, or stress, often leads to significant improvements. I've encountered men in their 70s who express that they feel as though they've returned to the vigor of 45, not due to enchantment. They heeded the signals of their body and took action before the moment slipped away. However, I feel compelled to share something even more intimate with you. For while the heart influences the body, there exists another dimension that remains unspoken. A veil that resides within your feelings, your recollections, your tactile experiences. It is an aspect of closeness that remains unaddressed in medical education, yet it frequently serves as the most profound source of healing. Without it, intimacy transforms into a hollow experience, lacking connection, and can even lead to discomfort. In the forthcoming revelation, we shall delve into the profound emotional significance of intimacy beyond the age of 60, exploring how the lack of such a connection may be subtly undermining your health in ways you might not fully appreciate. Stay right where you are. This upcoming piece may resonate more deeply than you anticipate. Confidential Insight 3. Intimacy transcends the mere physical realm. It serves as a balm for the soul. Reflect on a moment when you experienced a profound bond with another person, not solely in a physical sense, but also on an emotional level. When their touch enveloped you in a sense of recognition, comprehension, and vitality. For numerous men, such moments are infrequent and increasingly elusive as we grow older. However, the reality is that intimacy beyond the age of 60 transcends mere physicality. It concerns your heart, your mind, your spirit. When that emotional bond fades away, the repercussions extend far beyond mere absence of joy. I have found myself seated opposite men in their 70s, powerful individuals who led enterprises, nurtured families, and crafted enduring legacies. Yet their voices quivered as they confessed, "I haven't felt close to anyone in years, not solely in a sexual manner, with deep feeling. They were not deprived of intimacy. They craved intimacy, the gentle embrace of human connection. The simple act of someone taking their hand and truly meaning it. The unfulfilled yearning, when neglected, gradually undermines a man's mental and physical well-being in ways that often go unspoken by most physicians. One patient, Martin, 74, visited me not due to physical struggles, but rather because he experienced a sense of numbness. 5 years had slipped by since his wife had departed from this world. Since that time, he had withdrawn into solitude, firmly believing that closeness had no place in his existence any longer. He asked me, "What is the purpose of this era?" Yet it was evident in the depths of his gaze. He longed for the connection, the laughter, the touch. As time passed, that emotional chasm deepened, manifesting as depression, sleepless nights, and an escalating blood pressure that no remedy appeared capable of alleviating. What Martin remained unaware of, and what many older men seldom learn, is that intimacy serves as a potent form of emotional medicine. The act of physical affection, whether shared with a partner or expressed through self-touch, triggers the release of oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin in the body. These are more than mere feel-good chemicals. They influence your emotional state, alleviate stress, enhance sleep quality, bolster immune health, and diminish the likelihood of heart disease. Ultimately, the absence of intimacy signifies the loss of a vital component of your well-being. And yet, countless men choose to turn it aside. They persuade themselves that connection belongs to the youthful, that revealing need is a sign of frailty, that vulnerability is a trait to be concealed. Thus, rather than extending a hand, they withdrew into silence. They shy away from physical closeness even when it is extended to them. They stifle their emotions. They fall into silence. Yet consider the price of that silence. The heightened risk of depression, coupled with elevated cortisol levels, a compromised immune response, and increased blood pressure, often leads to an early decline in cognitive function, all stemming from prolonged emotional isolation. Indeed, I have witnessed men age a decade in mere moments, all for the absence of a companion to embrace, a confidant to converse with under the stars, a partner to share both flesh and spirit. They endure for a time, yet their existence lacks the vibrancy that defines true life. This extends beyond the confines of mere romantic involvement. There are men who, despite being married, have not genuinely connected with their partners for years on end. Some individuals may dwell in solitude, yet they cultivate vibrant emotional landscapes through the bonds of friendship, engaging dialogue, and a profound sense of self-acceptance. Emotional intimacy holds equal importance to physical health. Devoid of it, you find yourself operating on fumes. I have something to express that might be difficult to accept. Should you find yourself feeling a sense of disconnection, if the warmth of touch has faded from your life, if you've convinced yourself that affection holds no significance, you might be gradually descending into a state of emotional deprivation, and the toll it takes on you is likely greater than you comprehend. Yet, the hour is not lost. Seeking a connection, despite its unfamiliarity or the fear it may evoke, stands as one of the most impactful choices for your well-being in the later stages of life. Through candid dialogue with your partner, embracing sensations during intimate moments, or recognizing your yearning for connection, it all starts with a single act of bravery, a choice to transition from mere existence to truly embracing life once more. If you find yourself questioning whether such a connection can still offer you joy, tranquility, and energy after all this time, I can assure you from my own experience it certainly can. Indeed, the deepest connections frequently emerge after the exuberance of youth has faded, revealing a raw, authentic, and tender form of love that is stripped of pretense. Yet, an insidious barrier persists, stealthily stripping men of that joy, unyielding in its grip. It's neither the passage of time nor the grip of sickness. Rather, is an object we hold close, a companion we observe in solitude. It is reshaping your mind, altering your anticipations, and transforming your capacity to experience emotions. In the forthcoming revelation, I will unveil how the very escape that many men seek might be the catalyst undermining their confidence, their sense of fulfillment, and their opportunity for genuine intimacy. This is something you won't want to miss. The hidden truth is that adult content and unattainable ideals are subtly undermining the confidence of seniors. There exists a subject seldom broached by men, yet one that nearly all encounter in silence. It serves as a refuge for those moments of solitude, a spark for curiosity, or a means to rekindle a sense of feeling once more. Swift, discreet, and effortless. My subject of discussion is pornography. Though it may appear innocuous, particularly in the twilight years, it stands as one of the most formidable, unseen eroders of male confidence and intimacy I have ever encountered. Throughout my 3 decades of experience alongside men, I have observed a deeply poignant trend. As the signs of physical change emerge, slower arousal, extended recovery periods, and sporadic performance challenges, many men find themselves retreating into the realm of fantasy. They cease to put in the effort with their partners. They cease to seek out affection. Instead, they find themselves isolated before a screen, persuading themselves that this solitude is not only normal but essential. Yet, they remain unaware that what unfolds before them is transforming their thoughts, emotions, and expectations of themselves and those around them. There was a man I once knew, a man named Walter. At 71, he stood as a retired Navy man, embodying pride and strength. Yet an undeniable shift had occurred within him. He confided that he hadn't laid a hand on his wife in nearly 4 years. He claimed they merely drifted apart, yet the truth revealed itself gradually. Walter had cultivated a routine of indulging in adult content nearly every day. What began as a rare getaway evolved into a substitute for genuine closeness. As time passed, he started to draw parallels between the images flickering on the screen and the reality of his home life. His wife's form, her rhythm, her whispers, had lost their allure for him. He descended into boredom, followed by a simmering resentment, ultimately retreating into silence. In time, she ceased to extend her hand toward him entirely. This reflects the subtle price of pornography as one grows older. It's not merely the sights that capture your attention. It's the emotions that fade away. Your mind acclimates to synthetic stimulation, idealized forms, ceaseless novelty, devoid of emotion, and free from imperfection. And soon, the fabric of reality simply fails to meet expectations. The cherished warmth of that flawed human connection you once held dear begins to lose its luster, transforming into something dull, even grating. Your body complies. The pathways of dopamine start to transform. The ability to feel arousal from mere touch begins to wane. Some men discover that achieving climax eludes them unless a screen is present before their eyes. Some individuals experience a delay in reaching orgasm, encounter erectile dysfunction, or find themselves losing interest entirely. And perhaps the most detrimental of all is the turmoil that unfolds within, the quiet decay of assurance, bonds, and intrinsic value. For all the hours spent in front of the screen, that void remains, lingering long after the credits roll. In that hushed instant, a question lingers. Why does satisfaction elude you? In moments of introspection, you find yourself pondering, what is it that troubles me? One begins to ponder the notion of transformation. Perhaps it is simply a matter of age. Yet, beneath the surface, you understand that it isn't about age. Your mind has been nourished on illusions for such an extended period that it has lost the ability to react to the authenticity of reality. And that is truly frightening. I've witnessed unions crumble, not due to betrayal or health crises, but rather from prolonged periods of digital estrangement. I've observed how men can drift away from their own bodies, losing the ability to be fully present without the need for external stimulation. I have observed men descend into a vortex of guilt, shame, and secrecy, convinced they are isolated in their struggles, believing that no one else grapples with such burdens. Yet, you are not solitary. There exists a path to return. There exists a path to return. It begins with a realization that what you take in, particularly when alone, influences more than just your desire. It transforms your anticipations. It conditions the mind to seek perpetual novelty, seamless thrills, and effortless emotional engagement. Yet, true intimacy transcends all of that. True intimacy unfolds with patience. It's chaotic. It stirs deep feelings. It is rooted in trust, dialogue, and being fully present. Indeed, it might seem less immediate than the quick satisfaction of a video, yet it offers a depth that is richer, more enduring, more connected, and ultimately far more satisfying. Releasing oneself from the grip of pornography, particularly after years of habitual engagement, presents a formidable challenge. It demands sincerity, encouragement, and at times, the insight of a professional. Yet what lies beyond is truly invaluable. A revitalized identity, an enriched connection with your significant other, a revival of genuine desire that ensures you feel fulfilled in its wake, and perhaps most significantly, a restored sense of confidence. The kind that transcends performance and fantasy, rooted instead in presence and connection. If you have found yourself ensnared in that hushed detachment, I implore you to take a moment to reflect, to ponder whether I am still able to experience something genuine. I can assure you that the answer is indeed yes. Yet, the choice is yours to make, time and time again. However, amidst the potential harm that this emotional rewiring may inflict over time, there exists one more hidden truth that can obliterate everything in an instant. Should you fail to exercise caution, it's not merely a matter of what you choose to watch. It's about the actions you take. A perilous timing error that numerous men commit in their quest to demonstrate that they still possess their former prowess. A solitary miscalculation that has led to the ruin of men's relationships, their self-respect, and, in the most tragic instances, their very existence. And that is precisely what I shall unveil in the ultimate revelation. Be sure to catch it. Confidential Insight 5. The most perilous moment for intimacy arises when one feels vindicated. A moment arrives unexpectedly for numerous older men, a fleeting instant when they experience a surge of courage, vitality, and an overwhelming sense of power. Perhaps it occurs following a positive doctor's appointment or when a longtime friend remarks, "You've still got it." Perhaps it is when a fresh romantic intrigue ignites a spark within, long dormant for years. In that instant, a perilous shift occurs. There exists a compelling urge to demonstrate it, to their own hearts, to their beloved, or perhaps merely to the passage of time. They seek to demonstrate to the world that they still possess the necessary prowess. They desire to engage in intimacy as they did in their 30s, without a roadmap, without rhythm, without limits. And that is the moment when the harm is inflicted. Time and again, I have witnessed men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s who drive themselves beyond their limits, all fueled by a sense of pride. They indulge in a bit too much wine, forgo their heart medication, reach for an over-the-counter enhancement pill, and enter the bedroom as if it were a grand stage awaiting their performance. Yet within, their heart labors relentlessly. Blood pressure surges, breaths become shallow, and their body, which craved nurturing and readiness, is thrust into an instant it is ill-equipped to face. One man who remains etched in my memory is Leonard, aged 74. He possessed a captivating charm, a delightful sense of humor, and had recently embarked on a romantic journey with a younger woman. He approached me one time with a playful grin, saying, "Doc, I've got it to keep up." I cautioned him, expressing that his heart no longer possessed the strength it once did. That intimacy is a form of exertion, not merely a source of delight. He nodded with a smile and reassured her, "Don't worry, I know my limits." 2 weeks later, Leonard fell to the floor of a hotel room, succumbing to cardiac arrest. In a moment of sheer panic, his date reached out for assistance. Yet by the time the paramedics made their entrance, the situation had already spiraled beyond hope. His body faltered under the weight of that night, not due to a lack of masculinity, but because he overlooked the truth that aging demands reverence, not defiance. Indeed, when older men recklessly attempt to demonstrate their youthfulness, the consequences can be dire. Intimacy, particularly in the later stages of life, transcends mere physical desire. It encompasses the entirety of the body. Your pulse quickens, your veins widen, your breaths grow deeper. It resembles the arduous ascent of a hill. If your heart is unprepared and your body is strained, that hill transforms into an insurmountable cliff. I have conversed with widows who recounted tales of their husbands passing while engaged in their passions. Yet beneath the smiles and narratives lies a profound sorrow, for those departures were far from serene. These occurrences could have been avoided. The error lies not in yearning for closeness. It lies in neglecting the signals your body sends. It resides in allowing your ego to overshadow your experience. It's about regarding your partner as an audience rather than a companion. When sexual encounters transform into mere performances rather than genuine connections, they cease to embody intimacy and instead evolve into a perilous endeavor. The anxiety that older men harbor about their waning desirability, diminishing strength, and perceived incapacity can lead them to make choices that exact a toll far greater than mere pride. And therein lies the tragedy. Where lies the tragedy? The reality is, there is no need for you to demonstrate anything. Your experiences of life, love, and resilience surpass those of many. Your value is not determined by the intensity, speed, or duration of your efforts. It is gauged by the depth of presence, the purity of honesty, and the capacity to truly listen to both your partner and the signals of your own body. To slow down is not to surrender, it endures. Taking your time is not a sign of frailty, it is profound insight. In the twilight of life, the greatest act a man can undertake is not to resist the passage of time, but to welcome it with resilience, insight, and compassion. When the desire to demonstrate your prowess in the bedroom arises, pause for a moment and breathe deeply. Inquire within and ponder the reasons. Contemplate whether the essence lies in connection or control, in love or fear. In that fleeting moment, the choices you make hold significant weight. One may opt for pressure and face the ensuing repercussions. Alternatively, you may opt for presence, crafting something that endures far beyond a mere performance. And if that sends a shiver down your spine, excellent. It ought to. This transcends mere physical intimacy. It's a matter of enduring through the present to savor the moments that lie ahead. It's about not becoming another silent statistic. Now that you know the 5 secrets, what they are, what they cost, and how they quietly steal years of joy from men who don't know them, there's one final thing I need to share, a unifying element that weaves everything into a cohesive whole. Learning is one aspect, yet it is in the act of living differently that true transformation unfolds. In conclusion, I will share the singular message that has the power to weave all of this into a fresh start. This is an opportunity you simply cannot overlook. In closing, the knowledge you possess at this moment has the power to rescue you. At this point, you are likely familiar with the 5 truths that countless older men wish they had discovered earlier in life. These are not merely suggestions or techniques. These are pivotal moments, subtle, frequently ignored instances of insight that distinguish those who grow older with resilience, affection, and vigor from those who gradually drift away, from their companions, from their well-being, and most agonizingly, from their own essence. Throughout my years in the medical field, I've come to realize that the most challenging aspect of aging transcends mere physical deterioration. The weight of invisibility, the shadow of uncertainty, and the fear that silences one's voice. These are the burdens that linger in the heart. Countless men enter my office, believing they are the sole bearers of their burdens. They perceive their experiences as shameful, atypical, or in some way a result of their own actions. However, the reality is that your body is not turning against you. It is merely transforming. And as with any transformation in life, it calls for comprehension, not condemnation. Let us pause for a moment and contemplate the insights we have discovered. Initially, we delved into the notion of spontaneity, the misconception that intimacy should unfold effortlessly as it once did at the age of 25. However, beyond the age of 60, such a mindset can lead men toward failure, frustration, and occasionally perilous consequences. To plan is not to show frailty. It is to embody sagacity. When intimacy is approached with intention, it transforms into something profoundly meaningful. Then arrived the second secret, the one that far too many men overlook until the moment has passed them by. Your arousal reveals the depths of your emotions. If the blood no longer courses through its familiar pathways, it may also be neglecting the vital realms of your heart and brain. The warning sign holds the potential to preserve your life, should you decide to heed its message. We ventured further with the third truth. Intimacy transcends the physical. It serves as a balm for the soul. It mends, it anchors, it unites. When individuals sever their connection to that emotional depth, be it due to grief, guilt, or pride, they start to fade away. Not due to their age, but because they exist in solitude that shatters the spirit. Next, we confronted the fourth peril, pornography and the skewing of genuine connection. It begins softly, serving as a stand-in for intimacy. Yet gradually, it reshapes your emotions, your capacity to love, and your self-perception. This is more than a mere habit. It is a force that can strip away your capacity to be present, to embrace authenticity, and to experience true fulfillment. At last, we unveil the final secret. The most perilous moment for an older man arises not in his moments of frailty. It is in those moments he seeks to validate his youth, straining his body beyond its natural boundaries, all in the name of pride, clinging to the fleeting mirage of vitality. That solitary decision has exacted a toll on men's health, their relationships, and in certain instances, their very lives. However, it can be circumvented if you are prepared to prioritize presence instead of pride. Perhaps you found a reflection of yourself within the pages of these narratives. Perhaps you have been battling your demons in quietude, too embarrassed or too fearful to voice your struggles. Perhaps you've convinced yourself that these transformations are simply the natural order of things, and that there is nothing within your power to alter them. However, that is where you are mistaken. Understanding these secrets elevates your standing, not merely to comprehend your body and your intimacy, but to seize authority over both, to re-establish a connection, to reconstruct, to reimagine the essence of these years. Not merely a gradual fading, but rather a deliberate, impactful phase of your existence. There is no need to accept the absence of sound. There's no need for you to fade into the shadows of your own narrative. It seems you remain present. Your presence, your heart, your intimacy, they continue to hold significance. Indeed, their significance may be greater now than at any other time. Thus, I shall conclude with this thought. If anything you've encountered today has ignited a spark within you, prompting reflection, discomfort, or a glimmer of hope, do not leave without allowing it to transform you. Engage in conversation with your partner. Consult with your physician. Schedule that appointment. Initiate that dialogue. And above all, cease to hold on to the falsehood that this chapter of your life has closed. It is not. Endless possibilities await you. Deeper connections, heightened pleasures, profound healing, and boundless love. Yet, it begins with a decision. The decision to cease merely existing and embrace the fullness of life once more. And if you remain by my side, still attentive, still receptive, I express my gratitude. The individuals who transform their existence are those who first muster the bravery to truly hear. You have embarked on a new journey. Proceed to the subsequent one. If this message resonated with you, if even a single aspect prompted you to pause, reflect, or feel acknowledged, I would be truly grateful if you shared your thoughts with me. Drop a 1 in the comments to let me know you're present, engaged, and committed to your journey of growth. Should you find yourself yet to do so, consider taking a moment to subscribe and activate the bell icon. I engage in genuine, authentic dialogue such as this, specifically for individuals like you. For you are worthy of more than mere silence. You are entitled to the truth and the resources that will empower you to embrace your finest years with resilience, insight, and compassion.